Hello and welcome to episode, I think, 48 of the Bad Psychics podcast. This episode is going to be the F1 season preview. And of course, I am your host, Z, as
I
usual.
see.
And yes,
Or E.
E is that my name when I host? Just
Yes.
E.
Yes. The multiplier E, photo.
So yes, as you can see, I'm with three. What does E call us? Idiots.
Many rude
Every
words.
name under the sun, he's basically called me at this point. So.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
From last year, yeah.
So three idiots is probably fair in the context of we're gonna try to talk like we know what we're talking about when all we've had is a couple testing sessions, and for a few teams lack of sessions is all we're going off here, and just kind of vibes for our 2026 predictions for the preview of F1. I don't know. I'm just waffling. All right. I've finally got phrases. I've got predictions. I'm going to try to do the Z thing again, and not just talk about people's heights. So I predict that this person is relieved that we only have one rookie this season. It's Mal. Considering that wonderful prediction you did
Yes.
for the bonus question last time.
Yes. I could have done it again, but it would have been a lot more likely this time.
I'm pretty sure that would have happened. So it's.
There was one season too early, damn it.
Okay, I predict that this person definitely won't bring up one of the drivers being from Norfolk. It's Michael.
Oh, come on! You know it's happening. Like, come on! Like, I don't know if it's in frame or not, but the flag is back behind me now. If it's not in frame, I will want to turn my camera just to put it in frame and mess up everything on Eloise's end, and I will get yelled at.
Well, I can tell you that because this four people screen is like stretched. We can see it.
Yes.
Only now.
The camera just to mess things up.
Not later. We can see it now. So and then the last one is I predict that this person thinks that Fernando Alonso will finally get his third driver's title. It's
possible. It's possible.
It really isn't.
It's possible.
Is it?
I think it's possible in the same way that Jack Doohan could win a race this year.
I'd argue that doing winning a race might be more likely this year, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say that.
But you never said what series. It could be in European Le Mans or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I mean, yeah. To be fair, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's after last year, I think I've been a bit more. I've been trying to be a bit more savvy this year.
Is that
so? A bit more savvy than last year is just not predicting Alonso to win the championship, basically.
In fact, I didn't say he'd win the championship last year.
You said he'd win races and Russell wouldn't.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Oh dear. Well, we've started off great. Okay, so I'll bring us to our spreadsheet in a hole. Spreadsheet in a hole. All right. So we are first going to start off with predicting just the standings at the end of the season. So there are now 22 drivers, which makes it even more annoying to predict and also annoying to show on screen. First, we'll start off with the bottom 4 drivers, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, it should be similar names. Okay. So start off with so P22. There is 2 Bottases. Mal and Michael have Bottas. And then I have Perez, and then Matt has Stroll. Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, would you like to talk through Stroll being bottom?
I mean, there's an old phrase in the world which is like, you know, sometimes when someone gets beaten 6-0, and the phrase is we're lucky to get nil. Well, this is the case here. If what his Lancers said after the first test is accurate, they are 4.5 seconds off the pace. If he's not last in the championship, I will probably eat my own hat.
Well, there we go.
Not this hat. I'll pick the hat.
No, you said your own hat, and you're wearing your own hat. I
I'm
feel
wearing,
like that's
I have a
implicit.
hat collection. I have literally 50 to choose from. Don't worry. That'll be the case. But yeah, that Aston Martin, given last year, I actually said that Alonso will win races because of Adrian Newey. Did someone put Adrian Newey in a cupboard and lock the door when they were designing this fucking thing?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure from what I've heard. It's well, it is partially, I guess, partially his fault, but the engine being the wrong size for the car, for what I've heard, doesn't seem to exactly be the best idea.
Also, from what I've heard, all the teams would have started development on the car in January, in like proper testing. I think they started like mid-April last year.
Okay.
And I think Newey's on record saying, because he joined like March, he's on record saying they're like 4 months behind everyone. So that's his excuse. So that's what they're going off of.
Do we think we obviously we were, because it was me putting Stroll bottom is why we're talking about Aston Martin, but at the same time I've got a feeling that might be why Adrian Newey has now been put in charge rather than the aerodynamic department, so he can't be given the blame for this.
I'll still be
No,
giving.
I think the Newey thing was more a matter of he's been put as the team principal so that he doesn't answer to anyone other than Lawrence Stroll.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that's what it was. I don't think it was a case of them thinking that was necessarily the best use of him or trying to get the blame off of him. I think it was entirely because it was really unclear as to who was answering to who between him and I think was it Enrico Cardile, I think was the one who was technically officially like level with him, but in reality wasn't because Newey part owns the team as well. I think that was their way of making it very clear. Everyone reports to Adrian Newey, and then he reports to Lawrence Stroll. Like that was, I genuinely think that's what I think. It's also a case of they looked at it and gone, Newey knows how. Newey has been around race winning teams, or more so than almost anyone in F1 history. If you're going to, he knows more about F1 beyond just designing the car. Just let him do everything he wants to do, and everything. There's enough people around him to pick up the slack on things he might not want to do as part that's normally the team principal's job. But you see it with other teams where they don't put everything on a singular team principal. Where, like, take McLaren for example, they've got a team principal in Andrea Stella, but then they've got Zach Brown as well, who does more of the media work and all that sort of stuff, where I think they are finding ways to not necessarily have the team principal be like a Christian Horner type, does literally everything full control. I think this, more a case of Newey just has control over whatever he wants to do on the engineering front, and maybe he has to do a bit of media work he doesn't really want to do. But it's the trade-off to, otherwise you've got like guys like Enrico Cardile maybe thinking, oh, I'm on level pegging with Newey when they're really, really not.
Right. Okay. And then, so other interesting things I've noticed. So, does anyone want to start talking about, I mean, I won't ask Matt because Perez and Bottas isn't on his list yet. So, does one of Mal and Michael want to talk about Cadillac and what they expect from Cadillac this season?
I've got some plans to start. Not very much. They're an entirely new team. They've not exactly shown the best pace in testing so far, from what I've seen. I think they're just gonna struggle quite a bit to the season. This might be like just a first season throwaway thing where they go, this is just more like kind of like what the newer teams did in 2010, whatever, when they had Caterham, HRT, etc., where they just had the first season be kind of like we're not really sure what we're doing. Let's just get a load of experience under our belt, and hopefully they become better. Cadillac actually had the funding to be better this time rather than HRT relying on two strings on a Apple Core to build a 2011 F1 car. Yeah, it's I just think they're both going to. But I just think Bottas and Perez I don't think they're also not expecting much from the team themselves. So it's kind of just a fight between them who's going to be bottom. And I've gone different to you and put Perez as finishing above Bottas just because I think he has slightly more to prove. Bottas has, although he's been in testing, test driver, as I think you pointed out when we discussed this a bit earlier today. I just think Perez, with being a bit more to prove, I think he can to angle for another season in the seat, whereas Bottas is fine doing maybe one and done or one and test driver.
Yeah, and in that discussion earlier we had, I said that Perez is probably better in races, like in over a race, Perez is probably stronger, but over one lap, I feel like Bottas has it, and I'm a little bit biased. I really like Bottas. Bottas is one of my favorites, so that's probably why I put him over. But I don't know. I feel like he's got enough to do something.
Yeah, so I almost had the other way around. I think Bottas generally, I think, will beat Perez. I think you'll see Bottas out qualifying more. I think you'll probably see Bottas generally finish higher in the races. I just think Perez has the higher ceiling. And when it's a team like Cadillac where you're expecting them to be at the back, chances are it might not necessarily be points that separating them, it will be count back. And I just think Perez is more likely to pull off that fluke, one-off better result than Bottas is. Whereas Bottas will be like consistently finishing like P20, P19. Perez will be the one when there's only 12 cars finishing who actually, manages to somehow stick it in like 11th and just beat him on count back. But yeah, I think when it comes to Cadillac, it feels like they won't quite be like the 2010 new teams level of bad where some of them were struggling to qualify. They're not going to be that slow, but they aren't going to be Haas coming in and scoring points on debut. Like it feels like it's going to be that sort of halfway house between the two.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd expect them to definitely be off the back. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't score points all season, but they will. I don't think they'll have problems qualifying for races, and I don't think they'll be finishing, the last two in every single race.
Yeah, and I think by the end of the season, as they eventually get more upgrades, I think they'll probably catch up to some of the straggler teams that won't have done as many upgrades this season. As it's again just a learning experience. I think first season, I'd be surprised if they expect anything more.
Indeed. Okay, so we'll move on to on Matt's predictions, he's got Colapinto 21st, and then obviously Gasly 19th. So I'm very curious. What's your take on this Alpine? Do you not think they're going to improve?
Not particularly. Colapinto is in the seat because they have no one else that's good enough to be in there and actually willing to lower themselves to Alpine's level. Gasly is being paid a lot of money for that first seat, but that Alpine, it's a cluster of egos in the management as well. The fact that Flavio Briatore is back in there, and even though he was told he was banned for life, and we're not going to get into that, obviously, all that sort of stuff, but yeah, the fact that the Renault, like a better term, isn't using a Renault engine as well, I've got a big problem with that. So maybe it's a bit of pettiness on my part, which is why I put Alpine so far down. I want them to do badly. I want them gone.
Fair. I mean, I agree with a certain Briatore. We will talk more about Alpine because I have a feeling that they'll be a little bit higher for the rest of us. Okay, so all of us had Stroll 20th apart from Matt, which is pretty fair. I think we've said enough about Stroll. He's just not gonna do well with a car that is a bit of a mess, Just
you're being so generous with your language here.
It's like going on Twitter and just watching the videos of that engine, and it just sounds so horrid. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
The fact that all four of us have got him in our bottom four.
Yeah.
Speaks volumes that even though I put him bottom, I'm not a million miles away from the mark here.
No.
Yeah. I think this basically shows if we were ranking, like, or did our choices of ranking the 22 drivers just on how good we thought the drivers were, ignoring the cars, I'm pretty confident Stroll is 22 for everyone, I think is what this is showing.
May well
Like,
put
it's,
I might well put one of the F1 Academy drivers in front of Stroll.
so you might as well put Lawrence Stroll in the car.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that disagrees with what Michael just said? I think he's 21, not 22.
He's a
Who's
Colapinto.
worse than Stroll?
Colapinto! He's awful!
No,
Colapinto
Colapinto
is bad.
Colapinto is not that bad.
Oh, I think he
Genuinely,
is.
he's not that bad.
Colapin-
Like he was out
Colapinto
qualifying
had
Gasly
never-
regularly back end of last season. He's
Yeah,
not a world beater by
Colapin-
any stretch of the imagination, but he is not useless.
No, I'm with Michael on this one. Colapinto also never spun off on the way to the grid, and then decided to drive back not via the escape route, but through the gravel trap. He is never going to live that one down ever. Even Martin Brundle never did that in his career, and he did some daft things. In his
whoa! Let's not hate on Martin Brundle now.
It's
Paul
definitely the
Brundle
wrong
catches the
person
race.
to do that with.
I couldn't resist.
Can't hate on Martin Brundle.
It's
I'm
the
not
essence,
expecting to
Willie, what
say
can I say?
something.
Yeah.
That man is a national treasure.
To be fair, the broadcaster, I love him. So
Yes. Alright, and then quickly, I think the only other one that there's a majority of, because we'll talk about the rest later, Hulkenberg, P19. I've personally got him there because I'm not convinced on the Audi. I don't think the Audi's got enough pace, and I think Borto will perform better than Hulkenberg this year. What is that basically what you're thinking, Mal? Or
Yep, pretty much exactly the same. I was a bit worried when I saw the testing today in Audi doing some actual decent times, which made me think, "Oh God, have I underestimated them massively?" But I think that sums up. Again, newish team, they'll probably struggle a bit, but they won't have as much issues as Cadillac.
Yeah.
In my view.
I agree there. All right, so we'll swiftly move on to the next four and see if there's any interesting names that pop up here. So, okay, so I'm all I'm seeing here is there's a Borto. So, if Mal and Michael have Bortoletto, P18, Hulkenberg. Okay, so Michael, do you want to talk anything more about the LD?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of an underestimating the challenge at Audi because obviously it's not a completely brand new team. They just bought out Sauber. This is them making an engine for the first time. They're coming in as an engine manufacturer for this, which obviously part of the rules were written so that they could try and get Audi to do this. But I think you can't underestimate what it is to suddenly start making your own engines, and especially in a team like when it's becoming, it's taking over from Sauber. It's not like it's taking over, when Red Bull started, making their own engines kind of in the weird deal they had with Honda. It's, this is making brand new engines in a team that was already sort of, back of the midfield, really, which was, an improvement for them last year. It is a big thing to be taking on. And it just feels like there might be still a bit of pain for Audi early on. I think they've got the best lineup possible to, maximize what they've got in there. They've got the perfect mix of the experience of Nico Hulkenberg, the guy who will just churn out the best results you really can get out of a car, and Bortoletto, who is, I think, one of the more underrated younger drivers in F1. He's one of the few that's come through winning F3, F2 back-to-back in rookie years. That's only something that, a handful of drivers have done. I think the only other ones to do that were Leclerc, Russell, Piastri, then Bortoletto, and then Fornaroli, I think, did it last year as well, who somehow is nowhere near an F1 seat, which is a bit of a travesty. But that's the company that Bortoletto is in. That is why I have less confidence in Audi's car than I do in their drives. And I just think that there will be enough good performance in the drives to maybe sneak them a bit higher than the car deserves to be.
Fornaroli should have a F1 seat. Why isn't Fornaroli? Why did it take so long for him to be snapped up by a team? It's so annoying. He's oh.
It's the same. Bortoletto nearly missed out. Like Bortoletto had to be basically released by McLaren to be able to get his seat. Obviously, it took Piastri. The things people forget: Piastri had a year out between F2 and F1 because there wasn't a seat for him.
Mm.
You know, Russell barely got a seat and had to take a seat at blooming Williams for 3 years when that car basically was not an F1 car. Like that, it is a case of you've kind of got to get lucky early in terms of getting into the right, junior team, and then the right opportunities coming up at the right times. Like there's almost like a missed generation of young drivers who never got a chance. Like someone like Teo Pourchaire, for example, is one I always point to. It's like how the hell he never got anywhere near an F1 seat is a bit insane. Like he was really highly rated, and it's not like it was, he nearly got one and didn't quite. He was never even like there was talk, because obviously he was part of the Sauber Academy, but they never really looked at him because they were too busy, taking the money from Guan Yu Zhou to get a seat. Like it almost took last year was that big shake-up finally that F1 kind of needed, where teams have been sticking with their more senior drivers and thinking, we'll play it safe. Guys like Grosjean and Magnussen at Haas, like who just sort of stuck around probably a bit longer than you normally would expected them to on the usual like phasing out. Also, you've got guys like, obviously not saying they shouldn't be in F1, but guys like Alonso and Hamilton racing into their 40s is making drivers think, I can extend my career further and further. So yeah, it's just it feels like there's a hell of a lot of luck that comes into whether or not a seat becomes available, and a lot of the time there'll be suddenly too many seats to fill. And then when there's a ton of talent, that's when all the seats are already full. So yeah, I think Fornaroli is just really, really unlucky. And but it's just also a case of he should be right. He should be teams like lining up to get him. But yeah, I don't see where he goes unless he gets put in a situation of pure chaos, like a blooming Alpine decide to pull the trigger on firing Colapinto mid-season or something like that.
Please do it.
I have a theory. How long till Hadjar gets the boot at Red Bull? He can end up there.
So yeah, who would replace that? Like Red Bull are running out of drivers to fill that second seat at this point. Hadjar kind of has to work, unless Lindblad. I think, to be fair, Hadjar might still be a seat filler for Lindblad. Honestly, I do think Lindblad is their guy now that they want to get in that seat when he's ready. But there's already other ones within Red Bulls. One is it Yuma Iwasa? I think won Super Formula last year. There's no talk of him being anywhere near an F1 seat, but he's one that is more than capable of driving an F1. So there is genuinely so much talent now that you just can't really fit everyone in. When do we get the haha Yuki Tsunoda's not in F1 tangent just to wind up Z?
But that would make me sad.
I'm building up to that one.
That made me sad. Okay, so who should we look at next? Well, you talk about rookies, so we are seeing our first hint of Lindblad with Lindblad P16 for Mao, P15 for Michael. Does anyone want to go on Lindblad and what they think?
Well, I think I might have underrated Lindblad a bit. This is kind of more of a kind of car thing rather than the driver thing. He's just coming into F1 and he might have the third worst car, so he might just struggle a bit first season comparatively to a Lawson. And of course, it's P16. He might do Yuki Tsunoda and just get plonked into the Red Bull seat randomly and then just flop like he did, unfortunately. And that's always a possibility with the wonderful Red Bull.
Sure is. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to where I put Lindblad soon. But anything to add, Michael?
Yeah, so I think Lindblad is the one that is that's become Red Bull's guy in terms of their junior category. Obviously, it's hard to tell what their plans can be going forward. And then with Helmut Marko, that becomes a bit of the extra curveball when it comes to the Red Bull seats. I do feel like with him gone, there might be a bit more patience, which I think is obviously a good thing. But especially someone like Lindblad, who obviously, in F2 didn't blow everyone away, but F2 is really hard to judge how good people are, because Ollie Behrman wasn't great in F2, really. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't anything special. So, yeah, but I do think Lindblad might be one who takes a couple of years.
Take that back right now. Ollie Behrman is a Simon role, must be protected at all costs.
That's my point, is Ollie Behrman is a damn good driver, and the fact that he wasn't that outstanding in F2 sort of shows that you can't just take F2 results as the be all and end all of how good they're going to be in F1. He was, I think, the one that really started to prove that you can be, have sort of middling results in F2 and it not be the driver's fault. Because everyone looks at F2 and goes, oh, it's a spec series, it's all on the drivers. It's not a spec series, guy. F2 is not that straightforward. So
It used
yeah,
to be. It's not anymore.
Yeah, but no, it's a case. I think Lindblad is one who, I don't know that I'm necessarily expecting him to suddenly come into F1 and be doing, getting incredible results right off the bat. It might take him a little bit. I think he'll beat Lawson. I think, Lawson is one of those drivers that's going to become like the benchmark that they have to beat in the way Yuki Tsunoda was supposed to be, where it's just he's a good he does all right in F1, but he's not anything special. Like Lawson, to be fair, has never really shown that much in F1 to think that he's, he was ever going to be the next big thing. But I think Lindblad will beat him, but I don't think it's going to be quite Isaac Hajar levels of rookie year.
Indeed. So I think the last thing is I just want to ask a question with the Aston Martin, because we've got 3 Alonsos here. Do we think that the car will be awful, undrivable, nowhere near the pack, right?
Not want to foreshadow something that's going to be talked about later on, but I think a significant amount of a certain score later on in our predictions, maybe because of Alonso and Stroll, in terms of not finishing. Their reliability has been abysmal in testing so far. Abysmal. We haven't seen this sort of unreliability since McLaren back in 1998 when it broke down on the way to a chip shop. It felt like it was terrible. That McLaren. Fine enough, Eddie New designed that car as well.
I'm sorry, are we forgetting McLaren again in like 2017 onwards? Like that, like the McLaren Honda, like it's Alonso with a Honda engine. Like
yes,
it's happening again, guys.
I'm not saying you're not right here. We've all seen the memes on that side of things. Alonso of Honda, like potholes everywhere, pothole covered up, lovely line painted on it. Honda with Red Bull, Alonso of Honda, big pothole again.
Yeah.
We've all seen the memes, and I feel so bad for Fernando.
So
I mean, to be fair, I had him higher than this initially because you can still got science above him. Because when I was filling this in last night, I forgot to put science in, and I had 21st left. I'm not putting science 21st, so I bumped everyone else down one.
fair. So do we not agree with Juan Pablo Montoya that Aston Martin are sandbagging? He's very much come out and said that Aston Martin are sandbagging.
I don't think it's sandbagging. I think they're overplaying their problems when they're saying we're 4.5 seconds off the pace. No, you're not. You're not 4.5 seconds off the pace. You're just like, it's what all of them do. They all claim that everyone else is better than them. Like Mercedes come out and say, oh, Red Bull are like 2 seconds a lap quicker than us. No, they're not. Shut up. We all know you're lying.
I mean,
like,
everything you say is absolutely right, Mike. Absolutely right. At the same time, going purely on today's times, as in it's day 2 of the final test of the recording. Kimi Antonelli are 1:32.8. Alonso was 4.6 seconds slower. Now, granted, we don't know what they're running, etc., etc., etc. But that is 4.5 seconds. So going purely on what we see and what we've been told, might not be a million miles away from the truth.
I'm pretty sure Alonso was doing a race test, and then they were getting okay, and then the car just stopped. It just broke, and that was doing a race test, and they've not really fully done a proper race test. So,
and also for balance, he wasn't the slowest. That would be Bottas, who was 7.5 seconds off the pace. Now, granted, we also know what he was running, to be fair either.
But yeah, but we all agree that Aston Martin probably get their acts together the second half of the season and be a bit more competent.
Nope.
I'm,
Uh,
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm, I'm,
I feel they write this one off.
I think they will have some packages that make them a bit better.
Yeah.
Maybe get him towards all the other teams and solve some reliability issues. Then, like, I don't know, whenever Lawrence struggles, that's it. Just focus on next season now. This season's the write-off. They'll just focus on everything else, and they'll sort of be better than before, but still like second worst.
I
And
mean,
yeah,
go on.
I was gonna say the only reason I got Alonso that high is basically because of that. Really, is because I think he can pull something out of a not very good car towards the end of the season, rather than during the middle, rather than during the start, where they'll be in the wall or something.
I mean, let's not forget as well that they use the Mercedes engine, obviously, which a lot of people have been running around throwing their hands in the air saying, oh, this is illegal, this and never. They've been innovative. There's no question about it being innovative, what they've been doing here. That loophole had been closed, and they've got 13 races they can use that engine as it is. If Aston Martin don't turn it around before then that advantage goes for them.
well, Aston haven't got Mercedes
No.
engines, have they? They've got Honda.
Yeah, they've got Honda.
Yes.
Even, do you know, I'm so used to Aston Martin having the Mercedes engine over the years.
Yeah, it takes me a second to remember. Oh yeah, they got the Honda ones, didn't they? Oh yeah, that's why it's blowing up every 5
Yes.
seconds.
So apply everything I just said there to every other team that had Mercedes engines. Apologies. These gonna love taking the Mick at me for this one.
I see.
It's been a long day. I'm sorry.
Alright, so we will move on to the next four. So this will be P14 to PL11. And we have some more interesting picks here. So we got so yeah, the majority of us have at least both the RBs near enough to each other. We all got the Williams up here, or is there someone who doesn't have at least both Williams in and around?
I believe me, Michael, don't have signs in there, but we have
Ah.
Albon at P11.
Yes, that's an interesting thing to talk about because, like, I have the Williams. I mean, also, I don't think Albon is being shown on maps either. So,
Nope.
so I'll just briefly go on Williams. We'll talk about Williams at some point as well. But Williams, I have them low because all the insiders are saying they're bad this year and they're gonna be down there, and I'm not fully convinced. Like, I'm worried that they've taken a step backwards and they're not gonna be the fifth place car like they were, and that worries me. So that's why I've got Sainz and Albon where they are because I'm not convinced. Anyone else have any comment on that?
I don't think they'll start off as a fifth place car. I think you're right on that thing. I think they've gone for, by the sounds, they've gone for quite an aggressive idea with their car. They've kind of stuck with the design philosophy and gone, right, we're committing to this. That's why they were late to testing, was a bit of a, they went, we can't get this idea ready in time, but we're going to commit to, we'd rather spend that time making sure that it works rather than trying to suddenly deviate back to something simple. So I think it's one where they're going to struggle to start off with, but I think this is going to be one of those seasons where you see a very steep development curve on the cars. When you get into those new regulations, you will see a lot more gains found in those earlier seasons. So I do think Williams is one where just the way that team operates now and how James Vowles has got everything working, it does feel like they've positioned themselves well to be able to build off of what they've got and actually develop that car well. So I think it won't be like last year where they started off great and then tapered off. I think it'll be the opposite. I think they'll struggle a bit early on, but then once they really get on top of the car and the idea they've got, I think they'll pull themselves forward. And I think with the driver lineup they've got again in Sainz and Albon, that's probably, you'd have to say that's the strongest lineup in all the midfield. So they will get themselves in a position where, like, their drivers will drag more points out of the car than it probably deserves at times. And I think Sainz showed, especially back half of last year, just how damn good he is, and the fact that he shouldn't be in the midfield. He should be in one of the top teams with how good he is. He's unlucky to not be up there. So yeah, I just think I feel like I've got a little bit of faith in Williams to at least improve as the season goes on and maximize their opportunities, which is something that back when they were crap, they had to do more often than not. They've got maximize your opportunities drilled into them at this point. Doing that with a much better car, I think, will just drag them up above some of the other teams that are potentially a bit more chaotic and maybe don't have quite as strong and established a lineup as they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, we have all revealed our Ocons, and he seems to be kind of around the midfield, but generally rated by mostly everyone. Mal, would you like to talk about Ocon and your thoughts on how he would do?
This is the Haas car seems to be quite good this season, or at least to start with. They seem to be better than they normally are. And Ocon isn't bad. I just think he's worse than Berman. And I think this season's going to be one that kind of gets him to just kind of not kind of almost be the straw that breaks the camel's back as such. I just think he's just got to sort of plod around where he was towards the end of last season, where Behrman goes on and does, Behrman things, and probably gets moved up into a certain team maybe towards the end of the season. But yeah, it's this will likely be the last time we'll see Ocon on F1 grid maybe this season.
Does his contract go out this season, or
I have no idea. That is a good question.
that is a very good question, because for a while I've just been a bit whelmed by Ocon. Like he the Haas will be good. I think I think the Haas will be good compared to what it's been, but he will be beaten by his teammate is generally the consensus.
Yes, from what the wonderful land of Google is saying, it is at least through 2026. So it might be running out this year.
Yeah, I think it does look like there's a lot of drivers with their contracts up at the end of the year because a lot of them obviously signed to do basically into the new regs. But yeah, I think he's one that just seems to be his contract. By the looks of it, is just for this year. There's not really like some of them are like this year with an option. I think his is just this year.
Yep.
On the steady hand, there's no question about that. However, I mean, he's been a former race winner. Let's not forget that. People forget that Ocon's actually won a Grand Prix sometimes. With one of the most chaotic races ever.
Bit of an asterisk. Latifi scored points in that race. Does it really count?
Of course it does.
Let's go Tiffy.
Yeah.
But he's a steady pair of hands, but he has got the bear as his teammates, and Behrman is destined for a higher team. I can't say the same for Ocon anymore, unfortunately. At one point, he was tipped to take over from Hamilton and Mercedes. Never materialised. Anthony's a new shiny toy at Mercedes now. Ocon's never getting a look at a top team again, I don't feel. And that's unfortunate because I think he is a talented driver.
Yeah, I just think he's not. I don't know. There's a bit of a ruthless thing, and he kind of almost had too many goes at it, I'd say. Which is why I think this might be his last chance. I mean, they could then go stay on for another season against whatever rookie comes up in place of certain driver, if a certain driver gets a move. But yeah, it is difficult to say about Ocon because, as you say, yeah, he's shown he was good in like 4 or 5 years ago, but yeah, just been outclassed since, unfortunately.
Does anyone else they want to talk about who've appeared in this section before I move on?
Yeah, I reluctantly put Had Jarvis far down. But I put him as far down. And that's because of the way that, and if Hadjar thinks this is going to change because Emperor Palpatine's left Red Bull, it's not. It's going to be 95% in favour of Verstappen. Hadjar is only going to get any attention when Verstappen is not in the race for one reason or another. Hadjar is a second driver. He is not there to race Verstappen for wins. He is there to make sure Verstappen has spare parts. They have to field 2 cars. That's the only reason he's there. If they could have one entry, Red Bull would do it. You know it.
Yeah, they
I think-
occasionally need someone to try and drive Lando Norris off the track. Like that's basically that was what Tsunoda's job was. It's like you could just like I don't know, kill
He
him.
did it
maybe.
badly
Like,
as well.
that's your job. You
He had
can't even
one
do
job,
that.
and he couldn't even do that right.
Yeah, he went, crap, I need to defend. I'll just try and steer into him on a straight, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that enough for Sonoda slander? Because I very much do not enjoy hearing it.
I mean, he could have,
I mean, he tried
tried
to
to
paint
stop
himself
it.
in the
Let's
corner.
like park the car in the slow section, not on the straight.
I mean, yeah, I know exactly what incident you're talking about, and Yuki did do that poorly, and it's a shame because Yuki doesn't have many moments, and that was one where he should have taken it, and he very much did not. Which is it's just a huge shame.
He wasn't an animal like Sergio was, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Mexican Minister of Defense.
Yep.
Yes, that they need a driver that can at least do that, if not challenge for wins. And I mean,
I do like Hadjar. I think he's a cracking little driver. I just think that the last couple of years, the Racing Bull has been RB, call it what you will. That car has been more fun to drive than the Red Bull has. I think other people have said. I think even Yuki said that I preferred the Racing Bull in terms of drivability. Red Bull was not a happy car last year. I mean, Verstappen showed why he's a 4-time world champion by getting that car into contention. Because Tsunoda's not a bad driver, but he couldn't get that car onto the podium and winning races.
I was thinking that the Red Bull was like basically they weren't chasing peak performance, is what it seemed like they were doing. They made it so that if you drive that car perfectly, it's a rocket. But getting to be like being able to drive that car perfectly is nigh on impossible. And if you're even a tiny bit off, the like actual pace of the car falls off a cliff. This is something that I think I've seen talk of. Like this is one of the things that Adrian Newey kept telling them not to do. Where that was sort of his waning influence at Red Bull, was them going against that idea of they just made it so. If you drive this car perfectly, all the drag goes down, the downforce goes up, everything works great numbers wise, but that's not accounting for the fact that someone actually has to make the car do that thing, and that's not exactly feasible unless your name is Max Verstappen. So I think that was the big difference between the Red Bull and the RB last year, was how narrow the operating window of the Red Bull was, where basically if you weren't perfect it was useless. So it's everyone talks about looking at teammates and saying that Max Verstappen has taken a car that's a midfield car and nearly won the world championship. It's not that straightforward. It's yes, Max has done something incredible to find that narrow operating window of it, but just because his teammate couldn't find it doesn't mean that the car didn't have pace and he magically somehow was making the car go faster than it was physically capable of doing. The car had that pace because it was proven to have that pace because Max Verstappen proved it had that pace. It's just it's not like if you stuck Max in the McLaren, he'd all of a sudden be going 2 seconds a lap quicker. It's just that it was much easier to find that top level of performance of a McLaren than it was the Red Bull.
For sure. Yeah, it's very much Max being one of the only drivers that could just freakishly drive the way he does, and that car was designed more for him. And I just hate how Red Bull just became we need a second driver, but we don't really have anyone that's ready. Let's get a young driver in to this ridiculously difficult car to drive and just kind of sacrifice him. And not really, and then just ruin his career, and it just happens over and over and over again. And it's just when is the cycle going to stop?
I can't see it ever stopping until Verstappen leaves. I can't see it stopping until Verstappen's not there.
Soon. It's soon. That might happen soon.
Because let's not forget Yuki Tsunoda took over that seat after the second race of the season last year.
Yeah.
Just for context, Yuki Tsunoda finished 17th in the standings on 33 points. Lawson and Hadjar both outscored him in the sister car, which goes to show how much trouble Tsunoda had with that car. Because, as I said, Tsunoda's not a bad driver. Hadjar and Lawson aren't bad drivers. They had more fun in that car than they had in that Red Bull. Unquestionable. I got a funny feeling from what a lot of people have been saying. The drivers are not going to have fun with these cars this year.
You're probably right there.
I hate being right on that one.
For sure. Okay, let's move on to, I've got P9, P10. So go. Oh my god. Matt, explain yourself, Cadillac. Oh my god.
How are they not cocked? I haven't said them yet.
God bless America.
Oh.
No, just no.
Get him out. Get him out.
I genuinely believe that Cadillac are sandbagging and are not going to do. No, not going to be trouble in the podiums. I mean, they're going to be scoring regular points. I've just got that feeling in my gut.
Sorry, what is it you said? You said something earlier where it's like you're gonna be, I don't know, smarter, and you're not gonna predict Fernando really high, and then I mean
Yeah.
if this is right, then incredible.
Yes. I think if this is right, we all need the hats.
I didn't put them first and second. I didn't do
You
what
put,
Craig
you
Pollock
put them
said was going to
first and
happen in
second of
99.
the midfield.
You did,
I
yeah.
didn't. I didn't.
I will offer this up right now. If like either Perez or Bottas finish in the top 10, you just win. I'm agreeing to that right now. Like, damn the rest of the points. You just win.
I'm not sure I agree
I'd
with
like
that,
to say that. Do you remember what Craig Pollock said in '99 when BAR debuted? He said, "We're going to win the World Challenge and we're going to win the first race of the season." They finished with 0 points. I'm not Craig Pollock, okay? I actually believe that Perez and Bottas, who are really good drivers, are going to be hungry to prove a point. And that Ferrari engine, which the Cadillac is using this year, I do believe, has, well, from what we've seen from the practice starts at least, is a good half a second off the line faster, which could make all the difference for getting points, especially if they go into a management train, not a DR train, a management train, because they're not going at full power for the whole lap. Now Cadillac could become the Yano Trulli, like a better term, of midfield, and therefore get points that way. I maybe also be a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the latter though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think you might be literally the only person in the world to be predicting this.
Including the drivers
Plus, I love that.
themselves.
Plus, I love the Cadillac design. I think it looks beautiful.
Oh, I hate it. Why is it asymmetrical? Stop it. Cars aren't supposed to be asymmetrical.
We go back to BAR again.
Yeah, we're not doing the damn zipper car or anything like that box.
So
make your car. And why is it the same colours as everyone else? Someone make your cars yellow again. Like, why are there no yellow cars? Why is everyone grey and black and white and blue? And that's basically that's like 90% of the grid.
Yes.
But it's because carbon fiber is black and grey. It's way cheaper. Ain't got a spray painted, but you've got to have some colour now, haven't you? So they got it for chrome paint as well. I'm not happy about that. The chrome paint was interesting, at least. It's gone.
Yeah,
that's my answer as to why I picked them that high. Well, or not, I'm saying there's another story entirely. I personally think Mihal's been a little bit more ambitious, putting his number 9 in. I love Ollie, but I think he's a little ambitious.
Do you want to comment about it being a bit of an interesting pick you put in Bem and P9, Mal?
He is here. I think with the Haas car and just how good he is, he'd be best at the midfield. I think it'd be close. I mean, same as Michael, I do rate the Williams quite highly, and I think Behrman will be able to sneak out a few good results, maybe some podiums, to get them above them. Which again, of course, leads on to what what may be predicted later, what I've said earlier, where he may move to a different team. But yes, he's. I think he's. There's a real talent there, and he could very much be the next British driver at a big team.
I completely agree with you because I have Behrman P10. I think that Haas it looks like it could be, one of the better cars of the midfield. It looks like Racing Bulls, Haas, and Alpine from like testing and what everyone thinks around the paddock seem to be around the same. Like seem to be as quick as each other. So which kind of reflects in a lot of our predictions here. Those are the teams that are generally higher in the midfield. So, but yeah, that's why I got Bam in there. So just scanning over if there's anything else we haven't really talked about. There's a certain driver that I'm pretty sure should be in the same place for me and Mao. That I'll save until that. And if anyone got anything else they want to say about any of their P9, P10 drivers?
Yeah, I just want to add that I obviously didn't listen to myself on the, when we did the review of last year. I said, don't trust French engineering. And then I put Gasly in 10th. I think I'm just focusing on the fact the engine's not French anymore and just clinging to that fact and hoping. Because it does seem like you said Alpine have had a bit of an uneventful pre-season in a good way. They've kind of just chugged along, done a lot of laps. And if they do give Gasly a good car, Gasly will do really well because Gasly is damn good. Like it's, I'm a little bit burned by last year. They looked good in preseason and then were utter crap. So I know I could be very, very wrong on this.
I'm with you on that one, but I'm also slightly more concerned that as ambitious, as worried as you are of putting Pierre 10th, I'd like to point out that our host has not hasn't revealed him yet on their one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I am wrong because Mao very much has Gasly. Yeah, that Gasly isn't on my list yet. I am blind. Yes, I mean, I think I can very much show you. There you go. Pierre Gasly P8. So the entirety of last season, I kept saying as a joke, and also it's just kind of annoying that the Alpine is crap, but Gasly's are on there. So I kept just saying Gasly's washed, Gasly's washed, Gasly's washed. That was very much my ongoing thing. Gasly's washed, and then suddenly end of the season he just pops off, and I'm just like, with this car being as good as it is, and Gasly just kind of just outdriving just anyone on similar hardware. I'm just thinking we could seriously see Gasly like properly do well if this Alpine is actually good. Which yes, I am backing the Alpine are good. And by Alpine I mean Gasly because I think Colapinto's crap and that's why he's all the way down P17. But I generally think Pierre Gasly. I don't know. There is a genuine chance that Pierre Gasly could have a really good season.
Yeah. As I
I mean, he could.
Yeah. You could.
Good, but I also think you're smoking something here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna kind of back you, Eloise. I do think Gasly could have a decent season. I am just worried about how the car is gonna hold up over the entire season. We are talking about Alpine, who are run by Renault, who aren't that bothered about motorsport anymore. Still, I mean, they've got rid of their engines. I'm presuming they're looking for a bidder at some point. Hopefully, not the guy has been rumored to buy in, but hopefully we'll get onto that later. And I think to start the season, they are they will be good. But again, this could be another outside shot for a podium, maybe. But as it will go on, teams will get better. Alpine just will kind of stagnate, and they'll slowly fall back down the order. In kind of almost a reverse of last season, I'd say. Which is why I have Colapinto P17 because I think he somehow might get a point, basically.
Oh, that's very generous, very ambitious.
That is very generous. Yeah. Go on.
Okay, so I have two names on the focus before we move on. Lewis Hamilton P7 for both Matt and Michael. I'll go with Michael first on this. What are your thoughts of him being lower than he was last season?
This is where I have listened to myself from last year saying, don't trust Italian engineering. Where basically, I am not, like, for as much as the Ferrari can look good, I don't trust it. It's Ferrari. That car could be the quickest and they'll still find a way to screw it up. And then when it comes to Hamilton specifically, I really, really want to believe that he's back. Seeing some of the stuff from testing, it feels like the proper, like, seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton is back. I still don't know. It's like before testing and that, I'm like, I think he's done. I think this is his last year. I don't think we get the Lewis Hamilton back. I'm getting that bit of hope again, but I really don't know because there's so many damn good drivers in those other teams at the top of the top of the standings now that I think putting Hamilton any higher than seventh feels like a bit of a gamble, honestly, that you are getting proper Lewis Hamilton back. And we've thought it's going to happen a few times over the last few years and it didn't. I'm not getting my hopes up too much over testing.
Likewise. In fact, Hamilton's mood last year was, shall we say, furious at times. Not least because if I hear one more time, we are checking. He would be so glad he hasn't got a race engineer yet either,
No.
and for the new season yet. I mean, like Ferrari, you have unlimited money. Go and buy Bono out of his contract. Literally, pay any money for him. He needs Bono badly, or someone of his quality. But also, as you said, Red Bull is just not Red Bull. Sorry, Ferrari are just literally a bunch of clowns. Because as you say, if they can mess up, they will. How many times did they mess up a strategy call over the last 5-6 years? And they throw away wins, podiums, probably championships. Going back longer, obviously, for that. I think, and I was very tempted to put this as something later on. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Hamilton doesn't finish the season. If things don't go as they are being based on testing, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a British driver in that seat by the end of the season. That's not a Knight of the Realm.
Oh, Keen Shields, amazing! Let's go.
Possibly.
No.
Possibly.
Please no.
Obviously,
it's more likely to be a 6'3" guy from Chelmsford.
Yes, I assume that was where you go with that.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Bring back Martin Brundle.
Where's Max Chilton? What's he doing now?
Julian Palmer.
Julian Palmer. You have to be aware on a street circuit.
All right, we'll move on from that to.
I've actually turned off Julian Palmer's commentary before. It's so dire.
Is that the F1 TV one? Yeah.
Yeah, I would do anything to not watch that. Alex Brundle all day long. Alex Jakes, love him. Can I stand? Can I stand Julian Palmer? Nope. I would rather listen to Z go on and on and on about the confused owl that is Valtteri Bottas. That's saying something. That's going back a good 7 years, Z. You're welcome.
Hi Z. It's the second time I said that this episode. All right, Piastri. Me and Mao have Piastri quite low. Yeah, this sucked because I really don't want to put Piastri to stone, but everything just felt so close and so hard to predict at the top that I felt like I just had to be a bit rueful with
Rufus?
just horrible with putting Piastri this low after last season. But any thoughts, Mal?
Yeah, I guys, I kind of ran out of positions when I was
Yeah.
doing like the top 8 to kind of put him in, and it did feel a bit weird. I don't know. I get the feeling that like maybe P7 to P4 would be quite close, so this could be even like a couple of points. But yeah, Piastri has shown to be not the best under pressure at times, especially towards the end of last season. And if there is any pressure on him, we might see him slide down a bit.
That's fair. Sorry, I was also just distracted at myself. It's like I managed to mix ruthless and brutal in
Brutal.
time.
I liked it. I thought it worked.
It wasn't intentional. I very much.
There's merch with that on, isn't there? There's
Oh,
merch
no.
coming with that on, isn't there?
Oh no! Please no. All right, we need to swiftly move on before my brain goes just completely melted. I think with this one I revealed the next 3. So P6, 5, and 4. If it wants to click, there we go. So yeah, I'll start with our P6s because so we don't need to talk about Hamilton again. But me and Mao have gone Hamilton's P6, so no one's really going bold with Hamilton. I'd love to have Hamilton P4. I didn't want to risk it. The same for you, Mao. I assume.
Yeah, yeah. It's the closeness, and I don't think he'll touch the Leclerc, unfortunately. So I think P6 is where he's going to settle.
And now, I think we should talk about Kimi next because we've got 2 P6s and 2 P4s for Kimi. I'll start with Michael, but yes, why have you got Kimi P6?
It's a tough one because obviously I think a lot of people are expecting that Mercedes to be very good. I don't think there's any like I don't think this is going to be the days of old when Mercedes are just like way better than everyone else, miles ahead. It feels like one where drivers will make a big difference in this, and there's so much talent in those top 4 teams that Kimi just feels like he's still basically a child in F, like actually still basically a child, and they've stuck him in a top team. It's going to take him a while to get up to the levels that everyone expects him to be able to hit. When he's at his peak. Like look at Max Verstappen when he came in really young. He didn't suddenly get put in the Red Bull and become fighting like he was fighting for world championships. He was finishing behind Daniel Ricciardo for quite a few years. Basically every year they were together. It feels like Antonelli is going to be a bit of a slow burner to get up to his peak, but he'll be able to hit his. It can take him a few years to get to that level. He'll still only be like 21 when that happens. It just feels like there, like I said, there's so much competition. In the same way where you're putting Piastri lower, I'm putting Antonelli lower than maybe the car would suggest he is, just because there is so much talent and so many teams that it may well be that Mercedes start out the season brilliantly, but then, like I said, that's that steep development curve where teams will catch up. Like, McLaren have shown that they are very good at developing a car when it's not great to start off the season, where they basically went from like the back of the grid to the front of the grid in one season. Like, it just feels like Antonelli's consistency isn't quite there enough yet to justify putting him ahead of the likes of Charles Leclerc and the McLarens and the obvious other ones near the top. So yeah, I think that's what's just going to knock him down slightly compared to say like had you had these level of cars in like 2017 or whatever, then yeah, you'd be much more confident thinking Antonelli's going to be top 2 or 3 just because the car is going to drag him so much higher. But yeah, I think it's just it felt weirder to put other people behind him rather than having them higher up in the standings.
Anything else to add, Matt?
I feel that because I was going to put him higher, but then when they announced about the loophole, I'd have felt that Mercedes engine will be reined in by the rule change mid-season, which has been announced. I just think that they do a little bit of performance, and as you say, the other cars are going to catch them a bit faster. I can't really add much more. I think Michael was pretty accurate of it. I mean, Antonelli is going to be phenomenal. phenomenal. We showed last year his rookie year. I mean, the only thing that was missing for him was a win. He did everything else. I think he finished every other place in the points last year, apart from first. The guy is a world champion in waiting. It's a case of when, not if for him, but it's not yet.
Just quickly, I'll say about Kimmy is I only have him. I have him P4 rather than maybe P6 would have been safer. But I just think that Mercedes is going to be a rocket ship. Well, anything else to add, Mal?
Yeah, and pretty much the car will carry him. Well, not carry him. He's good. He's good enough, but it'll carry him higher than he maybe should be for age and experience. And then if maybe any regulation changes happen, he'll still be up and around in the points. He'll kind of act as he did last season, I think. But he'll just about stay ahead of the rest. As I said, P4 to P7 will be separated by a few points. So that could, the first half of the season could be entirely what carries him to fourth.
Okay, so the next interesting thing. Well, I mean, what should be next? Leclerc is very much feels like a Matt and Michael having Ferrari just lower than a couple of the other teams. Do you not think Leclerc can push on this season, or that's an open question to either of you?
If I may go first on that
Yep.
one, I think that the clown show that if the Ferrari pit bull is what's going to screw him here.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with Hamilton. It's nothing to do with Leclerc. It's the fact of Ferrari just seem to not know what they're doing, and you think back to the genius days of when they were changing Grand Prix with the Hungarian Grand Prix in '98, where they came up with something on the fly, or when they did the French Grand Prix one, where they did a 5-stop race and won the race. There is, I don't have a clue what's happened. Why have they now suddenly got no idea what they're doing? Have they got to have a committee? Have they got to send a fax to Maranello every single time they want to do a strategy call? Is that what they're waiting for? We are checking. Seriously, we do not care. Okay, get better. We want competition, F1. Ferrari is supposed to be a competitive car. I hate Ferrari as a principle, but I want to hate them because they're good. I don't want to feel sorry for them. I'm feeling sorry for them.
Anything else, Michael?
I think the only thing I can say is, is this the year that Leclerc pushes on? I mean, he might push on, but he'll have to push his car around because it's broken down because it's a fucking Ferrari. Like, that's the only push at least to be able to do in a car that's red.
I say one thing, and maybe the year he pushes off.
Ooh.
Yeah, silly season.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Leclerc's only problem is where, like, what seat is open for him, basically. I think that's the only real reason why he's, like, seemingly so stuck at Ferrari is where does he go?
If you believe what some people have said, Max might not finish the season. He may go off somewhere. Maybe Charlie Leclerc heads to Red Bull.
That would basically be it. I think it would require someone else leaving their seat. But like, it doesn't feel that there's anyone's going to go out of their way to get Leclerc. He's reliant on basically Max Verstappen having enough of Red Bull and that causing a weird merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll quickly go to Mal about Norris before we move on. You have Norris the lowest out of us.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm underrating the McLarens again. I don't know. Just they're based on. I'm relying on testing too much. Maybe just based on testing, they seem to be the third out of the third out of the top three, and then Red Bull's a bit further behind. And I can see them trying to keep pace with the other team development, but of course with Mercedes engines as well, they'll always have a decent engine behind them. But yeah, I just think they'll be just a little bit behind the others, which will mean they won't get as many podiums, wins, etc. as they did last season, where they just ran away with it massively, and that filters down to the drivers. And just again, I did annoying. I did have Hamilton above Norris, but that seemed incredibly wrong. Like
Yeah.
I stopped myself before doing that and going, "What are you doing, Chris? Why do you have the 40-year-old washed man ahead of Lando Norris?" So I swapped them around, but yeah, it's just the look of having the third best car, I think.
And that sounds about right. That's basically exactly why I have Verstappen fifth. 'Cause, I mean, Hopium, maybe, but it's just I don't rate the Red Bull compared to the McLaren, the Ferrari, the Mercedes. That's it. So that's why I've got him P5. He probably will do better, but I struggle to fit everyone in. Okay, so I will move on to our P3s because I got this separate. So our P3s are very okay. So we got two Lando Norrises. So me and Michael went with Norris. Um, Mal went with Verstappen, and Matt went with Russell. So I'll ask Michael first. Do you have anything to add on about Norris?
Yeah, it's. I think Norris and Piastri will be ridiculously close again. I think that got shown last year is that those two are very evenly matched. It just does feel like now that pressure of actually winning the world title is off of Norris's shoulders. That might actually help. It feels like some people said Norris could go one of two ways this season. Either he's won the world championship, he doesn't need to care anymore, he falls off a cliff, or he's won the world championship, that pressure's off his shoulders, and he becomes a better driver because of it. I think obviously the pace of the McLaren will be a limiting factor in that, but it's I do feel like he might go down like some people have described it a bit of like the Jenson Button route. After Button won the world championship, he probably put in some of his best seasons after that. Like it was some of his years at McLaren was actually probably some of his best driving. Like there was one year he like outright beat Hamilton head to head. Obviously there's some reliability issues played a part in that, but I do feel like one of the big things with Lando Norris has always been about how well he deals with things mentally, and I think him actually finally getting over that line, winning the world championship, I think might just free him up a bit. I think, like I said, he'll be limited by how fast the McLaren can actually go. It doesn't look like they're going to be the car to beat this year, but I do just think, like we've seen it before with him, it took him ages to get that first win. Once he got that first win, they did start chugging along quite nicely, and it felt like he was putting a lot less pressure on himself. I think getting that world championship might just do the same for him.
Yeah, it's pretty fair. Mao, do you have anything to add on that I didn't say about Verstappen?
Not particularly. I think he's got to outdrive outdrive the car again, depending on how much you think the car's built around him. But from the things he's said, I don't think he's got as much enthusiasm this time around. So that will probably impact how well he does. If he doesn't like the car, he could feasibly just be we could feasibly outdrive it without really trying as hard as he did last year, and then get a respectable position in the championship, and then maybe leave. That's a possibility if he just doesn't like the car. So he will go out not on a high, but on a. He didn't do too bad. He didn't do too bad.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I kind of hope he leaves, and I kind of hope he doesn't, because it's easy to shit on Verstappen, but also he is obviously incredible and the best driver. So it's not that the best driver isn't an F1, but yeah.
Well, I think from his perspective, he has won multiple titles. If he's in a car that he doesn't want to drive, there's no reason for him to stick around. He's got other things he wants to do. GT3, Le Mans, sim racing, even, which he clearly enjoys more. I mean, he does enough sim racing to fucking more than any actual sim racers combined, probably. So he probably, I think he's got other interests that I think he can kind of just go and do, and I don't think he feel like he's missed anything as such. And of course, Adol always be open for him to return for another team.
And then before we move on to our P2s, George Russell P3, which it's it might be different to some of our other picks. Is there a reason you have George Russell down in P3, Matt?
I'm not confident that George Russell is going to be able to get that Mercedes across the line to become a world champion this year. Even if that Mercedes is the rocket ship, but you guys have mentioned, and it certainly seems to be decent in testing, as you say, but we've also seen Mercedes cars turn up after testing and absolutely flounder. George Russell is a phenomenal driver. I proved last year when he got a couple of wins. I like George, I really do. But for me, he's the third best driver on the grid. And my top two is my top two for a very good reason.
Yeah. Well, let's find out who your second is. Here we go. Oh, we got a pair of Leclercs and a pair of Verstappens. Should we cover Verstappen and basically just, we've already talked about Verstappen enough. Anyone have anything else to add about Verstappen? Michael?
He's a dickhead, and he lost the world championship last year because he decided to be a dickhead and crash into someone on purpose, and he still got off lightly for that. I maintain he should have got a race ban for that because that was fucking stupid. And they should be putting like stuff like that as an intentional move. It was very obviously intentional. I feel like they need to be sort of throwing the rule book at him, and it feels like they like to throw the rule book at stuff that's way less of a thing than that. It's so he lost himself the world championship last year in the end, and I think that was that made it a bit funnier for me.
Yeah, I mean, he very much wasn't in the race and suddenly was, and then yes,
he couldn't have known that was going to cost him the world championship, but it did. So haha.
Yes, it is. In hindsight, it is great. Anything else about Verstappen? As I'm pretty sure we've all covered Verstappen, so it'd be last we talk about him.
Max Verstappen is P2 because he's Max Verstappen, not because that Red Bull is going to be the best car in the field. The Red Bull / Ford engine, who I know Ford have involved, I don't really care who's behind it. Hadjar being that far down and Max being so far up here, is another prize for me being that far apart on my predictions. Max Verstappen will be finishing P2 in the championship because he's dragged that car to second place in the championship, not because it's the second best car on the grid. But he's going to be second.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I very much almost did the same sort of prediction, but I wanted to kind of manifest a bit more, hoping that wouldn't happen. But yeah, you're probably quite right. And then before we move on to who our P1 is, which, I mean, if you've been paying attention or have done the math, you'll know who each of our pick is. But I'll ask Mal about Charlie Leclerc.
I think I'm huffing the copium with this. I think Ferrari are doing well in testing. Leclerc is very good. I know it's Ferrari. I know they've had. They are the Italian engineering no strategy men, but they've got the ingredients to push themselves close at this time, and I do think this will be close. Well, relatively close at least. But I'm not going to say they won't be cost the World Championship again. But Leclerc was like getting up towards being like third in the championship at some point last season in once again a car that was not as good as it is potentially going to be this season and in Ferrari. So I want him to get near, and P2 is only where I can put him, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. It just seems like the annual. I predict Charles Leclerc to be good, and then the Ferrari is awful. Every year, and it'll be every year until he finally leaves, which he should. Okay, P1s. Woo, big surprise. Oh, wait. There we go. Wow. 3 George Russells and then a Lando Norris. I'll start off with the Lando Norris and Matt, plead your case of why Lando Norris will be 2-time Drivers' World Champion.
I'm fully aware that I'm the only person on the Bad Psychics panel at all that did not pick George Russell as world champion this year. And to be fair, my case has already been made for me by my colleague on this day panel. Lando Norris is going to push on this year. He's going to dominate this year. That McLaren has got the Mercedes engine in the back, which is a cheating Mercedes engine already. It's been classified as a cheating engine already. So I'm not saying they're going to have it. He's going to have it wrapped up by Singapore like I did last year. But I'm quietly confident that Lando Norris, now he's got the monkey off his back, for lack of a better term, proving he can be a world champion. He will win the world championship again this year. And I'm quite comfortable saying that. And not saying George Russell won't be in the mix. Lando's got it. I could be wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a Lando Norris 2-peat. But yes, no. I very much prefer George Russell as a driver and as a person, so this would be even better.
Lando.
I like Lando. I like George more. That's how it is.
I mean, I could make the same argument to be fair. So let's not get it.
It's funny how different. Like a couple of years ago, if you asked me that, I would have been all Lando because Lando's from Bristol, from Glastonbury. But I like George. George is good. Michael, where's George from?
It's time for Norfolk World Champion. Down with that Bristol fraud. Look, I was good last year. I was semi-tempted last year to back George to win the world title. I'm like, no, the Mercedes is not going to be good enough. Don't be stupid. This is the first time I'm actually thinking George is going to have a car that could win the world championship. I've said it for years. You give him that opportunity, he will take it. He is genuinely the only driver on the grid I actually think would stand a chance going properly toe-to-toe with Max Verstappen. Like, legitimately, George Russell is that good. You can't say he's not had to go through struggles to get to this point within F1. He had 3 years in a damn Williams, which he technically got a podium in. I know it was kind of, 2 laps behind a safety car, but the fact he qualified the damn Williams in second,
yep.
He's been showing since that early on how damn good he is. Like that first year, it was at Hungary. He got it out of, he got a car that shouldn't have been in F1 into Q2. Like early on, he was showing he is that damn good. Then he goes to Mercedes. Like, he was a guy who came in on no prep, nearly won a damn race, nearly got on pole, and then actually gets into the Mercedes and, beats Lewis Hamilton, which for as much as he might not be the Lewis Hamilton of old, it's still for you to go into a team in your first season there and beat Lewis Hamilton is not nothing, and then last year, again, he won. It's him winning races in a car that really wasn't on the pace of the actual race winning cars. Like, it never looked like you were going to get Ferraris getting up to that level. Like, Antonelli never really looked like he was going to win a race outright. Russell did it. George Russell has time and time again proven that he continuously gets better as a driver, and he is a top level driver. Like, I know you say you can't look into everything in F2, but back then it was a bit more. You look at Russell in that when he won F2, in the year that was probably the most stacked lineup F2 has had, including a certain Mr. Norris, who was by the end not really anywhere near him. George Russell has always been the better driver of the two. He's still the better driver of the two. And if you actually give him a car that can fight for the world championship, he will win it. I said this several times last year. I maintain if you had George Russell in that McLaren, he'd have won the world title by Vegas. Like, I have that much faith in George Russell that you just have to give him that opportunity to win the world championship, and he will do it. And this has to be the year. Please, finally, Mercedes, give him the car that he was promised, that he had to wait so long for, watching Bottas not know what the hell he was doing with this rocket ship. And then the moment you actually give him a chance, you make a shitbox. Don't make a shitbox this time, please. I don't think my heart can take it.
Yes.
You've called Mr. Saturday for a reason, mate, unfortunately.
So yeah, you're basically saying a lot of what you just said is very much what I said come like most of last season, and I think Mal can confirm that I was very much on the George Russell hype train, and very much he would have won the title if he was in that McLaren. He's just incredible. Anything else to add, Mal?
I'm gonna miss. I not shout to follow Michael's love letter
Yeah,
to George Russell.
Incredible.
Wasn't
Yeah, he's good. He as I said, as Michael said, he won a race in a Mercedes, which shouldn't have really been particularly near winning a race on pure pace alone. He was the man who did nothing and finished third throughout the season, which you can't not do without being good and consistent. Now he's got a good car. It's time to show that he can actually do it, and I think he can. I don't know how dominant it'll be, but I think it might be. Depending on how other teams do, this generally might be more of a blowout than more of a gap than last season for sure.
Indeed. I mean, God, it would be incredible if he did win, but yes, I'm very much I can see us getting here end of this year just all really sad because George Russell was just that Mercedes was just awful or some.
Yeah.
All of us?
I don't know if Lando's gonna win either. He's gonna be Max.
I didn't have George in the top two. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, it's fine. You can be happy about that happening while you're eating your hat. We'll take that.
Yeah, I will also point out for the predictions you can't see on the screen, everyone else, Jeter, Z, Dizzy, and Marte, all had Russell winning. So
very
there is some faith between everyone involved that Russell is going to do it.
Indeed.
It's not like I had him down 15th or something. I did say he's going to be in the mix. I don't think he's going to win it.
Which is valid. It's just not the thing everyone else did.
All right.
That's fine. I don't mind being different.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
right.
I don't mind being different. It's a bit obvious with your Cadillac predictions.
Watch me luck that one out now.
No. Okay. All right. We'll move on to part two because I cannot fathom Cadillac being anywhere near that. So we'll do our second part. Okay. So now we're on part two with the miscellaneous questions, where they all have different points, and I will try to remember to explain all the points. And like I always do, I definitely don't always forget to mention how much each question is point wise, but it's fine. I'll try to do that this time. Okay, so constructor. So we're basically predicting who's going to win the constructors title, and we very much have talked about a lot of these teams already. So who do we think is going to be the best team next season? I mean, I don't even know if we need to say much here because we've all just mirrored what we think the driver's title is going to be. Anyone have anything to say about like maybe who's possibly close here, or are we all good with just moving on?
says, I think Red Bull do better than people are thinking they will. I think that car
Okay.
is genuinely good, and with Max Verstappen in it, it's going to do well. It just basically comes down to how good, like how able is Agile to drive it. I think that they will be a threat, and yeah, McLaren as well. Obviously, when they've got two drivers of that quality, you'll always expect them to. Ferrari, not a chance because it's Ferrari.
Yes.
And Mercedes second. So
A Ferrari second.
Yeah, I'm the same. Just again, it'll be close. I think as Michael said, Red Bull. I think in this house we kind of anticipated the Red Bull engines be a bit wank, but they seem to be all right.
Yeah.
So they'll probably actually be maybe, I don't know, third, probably behind Ferrari.
That was 10 points. So if you get that right, that's 10 points. And now we'll move on to race winners, which we simply asked, name drivers you think will win a race. Now, you get 5 points for any correct, -1 each time someone you didn't name wins a race, -3 if someone you named doesn't. So, there's a bit of risk and reward there, but let's see what we've done. And okay, so interesting. I thought going 4 that I'd have the least amount of winners, but Michael's gone with 3. So I've gone with Russell, Leclerc, Verstappen, Norris. Mal's gone with Russell, Antonelli, Leclerc, Verstappen. Michael's gone with Russell, Verstappen, Antonelli, and Matt's gone with Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc, Antonelli, Piastri. I mean,
yeah,
it would certainly be. I mean, it would be a very close season if all of those won a race, Matt. But any thoughts? What you want to say?
there's 24 races. If it had been like when it was 16 races a season, I wouldn't have put 6. But there's 24. Cars are unreliable. Well, certainly a few of them are, at least. I can see there being a few surprise winners. A one race win here, maybe Anthony Fine gets his first win, sort of thing. I needed to stand up from the crowd. I needed to have a chance of actually beating you guys. So I've gone big here. I didn't name Alonso.
Yes, because you've done
people...
so similar to everyone else before this.
I named 6 drivers who are in top tier cars who have got shots at winning races. I don't think I've been that. I think I've been bold naming all of them, apart from Hamilton and Hadjar, basically. But to be fair, I don't think they're winning races.
Yeah.
Where's your face?
I didn't say they're winning races this year. I'm not Craig Pollock.
Where's Alonso?
Where's Ollie?
Where's Stroll?
Impatient if I had my way.
Also, can I just add one thing about my prediction that I didn't realize until now? So I've got Mercedes winning, right? I don't have Antonelli winning a race.
Yes.
I think. Am I playing it safe? I don't know. But...
You've gone 1 per team. That's the weird thing with yours. You've gone one person per team.
That's why I think
you've got no team with 2 race winners.
I mean, I don't think you're being that conservative, Veg, when you consider that somebody who is not in the call, who put predictions in, has only named 2 winners for the entire season.
I didn't check that.
Yes. Wait, who's?
Yeah, I'm assuming. I was going to say I assume it's Z who's done that because Z is a coward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Though to be fair, I very nearly did the exact same prediction. I added Antonelli at the end as like, oh, you know what? I'll throw him in as well as my little, being a bit more optimistic about it. But yeah, I've just gone cautious with it because I'm not confident in much of who's going to win. Like, it's having just named no one on this one and just take the hit because, like, it feels risky to name too many because it's really hard to tell because obviously with the complete rules change up, it's hard to tell who's actually good. And the only team I've got any real full confidence in is Mercedes, hence Russell and Antonelli. And Max Verstappen is Max Verstappen. Like, you give him a tractor, he'll win a race at some point. So
Okay, so Mal, any last words on your race winners?
No, I just kind of sort of did the same as Michael with the added Leclerc because I think he is gonna do the best in the Ferrari, to be honest. I was tempted to put Hamilton again just to win the British Grand Prix because it would be funny, but I don't think he's gonna win a race. So
Yeah.
I played it safe.
Well, if you think he's not going to win a race, do you think he's going to have a podium? Well, let's find out. Oh wait, no, sorry, I forgot exactly how my thing. I thought we were going to list them out. Do you think Hamilton would get a podium?
Maybe. I think he'll get. I think he might get a couple, just because of the Ferrari. And maybe there'll be a couple of crashes somewhere. But yeah, I think he was one of the 5. Off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. So this is podium no wins. How many drivers will get a podium but not win a race? 5 if correct. 3 if no one gets it but you're nearest, and then second nearest gets a pity point. Numbers. Any reason one of you two went higher than my? Well, actually, no. Sorry. Oh my God, why can't I see that properly? Matt, any reason you went higher?
I've maybe been a little bit optimistic here because between wins and podiums, that's over half the grid is going to visit the podium at some point during the season. But at the same time, I'm not saying that those 6 are going to win races. Obviously, or obviously they're not going to win races if they're going to be on the podium. Hadjar had 1 visit to the podium. Hulkenberg had 1 visit to the podium last year. It's very possible we could have 6 people pop into 3rd place. Very possibly. Because there's 24 races, it can happen. 1 in 4 chance.
That is true. All right, so
I'm sure that math isn't right, but never mind.
I won't say anything.
Maths is not my strong point. We know this from podcasts.
Next up is closest teammates. So this is whichever team will have the 2 drivers that are closest by percentage, which will work out at the end of the season. So basically, who's going to be very close to each other in the standings? Interesting. So we've got a Williams, which I went Williams because they were one of the closer ones last season. I wanted to play safe. 2 McLarens, which I very much like that. And then we've got a Cadillac. I'll just quickly with the Cadillac. So if what you think is going to happen, then yes, they're a good shout. However, if what we think is going to happen and neither of them score points, you won't get anything for that because I did the rule that if they both have 0 points, then that. So yes, you're very much hoping that they get points there. Which I assume you think will happen.
I think they're going to do well. Okay, yeah.
Anyone want to talk about the McLaren battle?
I'll let Michael handle this one, I think.
So yeah, it's 2 very evenly matched drivers, and they'll score a lot of points. So any sort of small gaps will be a smaller percentage of the total as well. I think my thought process was compared to teams further down like a Williams, where if there's 5 points between the 2 Williams drivers and 5 points between the 2 McLaren drivers, as a percentage it'll be the McLaren that gets it. So yeah, it's just those are 2 drivers that last year they end up like a handful of points between them in the end. I don't think it's impossible for the same sort of thing to happen this season.
Enough. All right, we will move on to the opposite of that, which is the furthest apart teammates. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about here. So me and Mal went with Alpine. Matt went with Red Bull, and Michael went with Cadillac. So I'll start off with Alpine because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Why did you pick Alpine, Mal?
Colapinto will maybe get a point. Gasly will do well. Big gap, big percentage, big furthest apart win, hopefully. And yeah, I think the other options, Red Bull was considered the option just because of what happened last season, but I think Agile will have a better time of it than Tsunoda, hopefully, at least. And yeah, there's always a possibility of someone getting 1 point and getting 0 points, which means there's an infinity percentage difference, which I presume is what Michael's going for with his. But yeah, that just on pure. If both score points, then I think that'll be the furthest apart to me.
Michael, is that what you're going for here?
100%.
So
I think Perez. I think there's a good chance that more. I said if we're going off of where I predicted them order-wise, Perez nicks a points finish in one crazy race. That's all they get.
yeah. I mean that there's no rule that one of the drivers gets 0 points. There's no rule against that, so that is completely fair. Matt, anything extra to say about the gap you think that will be with the Rebels?
Max Verstappen. That's the answer. Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen. Isaac Hadjar, a very talented Frenchman. Not uneasy on the eyes. Definitely not in Max Verstappen's league.
Wink. All right. Move on
This
to
is me realizing I'm the only one who just can't comment on that in this call. Like,
well, I mean, yeah. Move on to the sprint.
He's not going to say. He's not. He's very marketable.
Sure is.
I don't really have an opinion on that, to be honest. But yes, we'll sprint on to the sprints. Which driver will be the best in the sprints? Okay, so we got 3 Russells, but we got a Piastri from Matt, not Norris.
Piastri has always traditionally done really well in sprints. Norris, less so. I just think that when it comes to it, Piastri is very good at. Oh, there's so many inner projects I can make at this point. I'm not going to make them. Piastri is usually does better in the weekend than Norris. Norris is always prove that he won the World Challenge by getting the job done throughout the season in Grand Prix compared to Piastri. Norris hasn't got more points in Grand Prix. Piastri usually gets more points in sprints. So I was going with the facts and the stats so far.
Fair.
Again, I'm probably wrong. Russell probably blow me away now completely. Win every race of the season.
I'm trying to remember. Who was it again that
So
it was?
last season it was Verstappen.
Yeah,
but
Max.
I think it was Piastri second and
No.
Russell third. Or
I think Russell was
Max.
second.
It was Russell was second. Max, Russell, Norris was third, and then Piastri. Was it last season? So, but yeah, I think I assume we're all going Russell because it's pretty safe because we've all got Russell as the champion.
Because multiple supremacy, yes.
Yes. I was tempted to put Verstappen because I don't know he's got to win something, but I think he'll just be slightly edged out this time.
Fair enough. Edging Max Verstappen. Okay. When will the title decider be decided? What race will we know who our drivers' champion is going to be? So we've all got different answers here. So,
Okay.
oh god, I need the calendar up because it's hard to. So I think if I remember, obviously Abu Dhabi's last race. So Matt's gone title deciders on Abu Dhabi. Las Vegas, I know just from remembering, is the race after Brazil.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got the last 4 races. So in order, the last 4 goes Brazil. Officially, it's not called Brazil anymore. It's the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Then Vegas, then Qatar, then Abu Dhabi.
Brazil.
It's officially the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
According to BBC website, others are available. It's now officially called Brazilian Grand Prix again.
Good.
They should again.
Yeah, it was called Sao Paulo Grand Prix last year. Yeah.
God's sake.
The weirder one is the fact that the Spanish Grand Prix isn't at Barcelona anymore. That's now the Barcelona Catalunya Grand Prix. The Spanish Grand Prix is a different race.
Yeah.
That'll be the Madrid.
Yeah, the Madrid.
It's such a goofy.
The Mad Ring, yeah.
Terrible, no.
Yes.
The Mad Ring, yeah.
So, would you all agree with the statement that it's just going to be a very close season? So that's what we're all predicting here.
think we're all in agreement on that, really.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't think it's that. If you're saying like 3 races to go, which includes, I don't know how many sprints that would include after that.
Don't think there is any. I think the last sprint race is Singapore.
Yeah.
Is it almost like the opposite
was
of
a weird
last year, where
one.
last year
Yeah.
they like really like
Bottom
backloaded
loaded.
the season with sprints, didn't they? It was like
We in last
Yeah.
5 last year.
Maybe I've got
Yeah.
it early, but yeah,
But yeah, I think even then, to be fair, if you're saying that's 3 races to go after Brazil, that would mean having to have a like 75 or 76 point lead after Brazil, after Vegas have to be 51, after Qatar have to be 26.
okay. Yeah,
So they're pretty like you have to get quite far ahead to be winning it early. It's just we've had a lot of seasons where someone has been very far ahead
yeah.
because there has been a dominant. Like last year was very much an outlier in at least within the rules. Like you see it a lot of the time where like as you get through a regulation cycle, the teams get closer and closer and closer. Hence, in the regulation cycle just now, we had a title decider at Abu Dhabi. The last one we had was the last year of the old regs before that
Yeah.
was the last time we went to Abu Dhabi. So it feels more likely that we're going to get it earlier because
Yes.
you're going to get bigger gaps between the cars. It might not be quite as pronounced as it has been on previous rules resets because obviously this is, I think, the first one coming in where the cost cap has been in place already in the build up to it. And there's also the, difference. You have the sort of balancing on the like wind tunnel time and CFD, CFD time they can use. Like that's sort of trying to balance it out a bit. So I don't think it'll be quite as pronounced as the old, rules resets, but it still will drag it out. So there are bigger gaps between the cars than there were last year.
That generally sounds about right. Yeah, the only reason I went earlier than all of you is just because I don't think it will be in Abu Dhabi. I think it will be slightly earlier. Now, could it easily be much closer? Oh, of course. I don't think it will be as like there won't be anyone running away with it. But yeah, I generally don't know, so I just kind of plonked it Brazil and hoping that I'd be right generally. Okay, so we'll move on to Q1 exits, which is one I added, where it's basically who exits in Q1 the most. Now, for context, that was Stroll last season. And he did it 14 times. And the only reason it wasn't Colapinto is because Colapinto didn't race the first few races. So that is the bar that we have here. Let's see what we all gone with. So it's 2 Strolls and 2 Checos. Let's start with the Checos. Who wants to talk about why they think Checo's gonna suck? Well, I suppose it's because of our driver ratings, isn't it?
Yeah. So we think Cadillac. I mean, I think Cadillac are going to be plumb last. And to me, it was a toss up between the two. Bottas been a slightly better qualifier, I think, over his racing career. So I think he might sneak out of Q1 once or twice. And Perez might do the same, but they might be tied, and Perez might just have the lower ranking positions, or however it's going to be decided as a tiebreaker. I can see the argument for Stroll again, just because it's Lance Stroll. Though.
Yeah, I mean, is Lance Stroll, isn't it, Matt?
I mean, Lance Stroll, I could see finishing in Q1 24 times this season. The only way he won't be in Q1, exiting in Q1, I should say, is if there is rain or there is a lot of drivers like missing times going out or having lap times deleted. I can't see Lance Stroll. I mean, 14 last year, I think that was generous. Into this year, I think he could be. I think if it's not approaching 20 with that Aston Martin, yeah, that'll be a job well done. I think if he's able to get out Q1 more than 10 times, I think, yeah.
Like I said, what if it rains and that's when he turns into Prime Sen? That's how Lance Stroll works.
Sure,
That's
That man
saying,
has a
look,
pole position.
I
Remind
did
you,
put that
that man has
caveat in
a
about
pole
rain.
position, by the way. He got pole position once.
Yeah, he got pole position once on a track made of ice, basically, and then threw it away.
Exactly. It
Literally.
was a track made of ice, and therefore it's all about the driver skill. At which point he showed he has all the skill. That's
in
why
the
one
race,
of my
he showed he
4
had
podium
none.
no wins is Lance Stroll.
And in the race itself, what happened?
Yeah, that race isn't that important. What are you on about?
Getting pole position, it's like winning a semi-final, means nothing. You go and get a job done in the final with no point.
Well, we'll
Well, you
move
could-
swiftly on to how many retirements
Numbers.
we think we'll have. Yeah, so the last two are just numbers. I don't think we need to go too hard on the numbers, but yes, look, we all predicted that there will be a certain amount of safety cars. Matt's gone lower than everyone else, whereas the rest of us have kind of gone higher. It's because there was what was the number last year again? 45.
So I was just going to quickly check.
It's 45,
that.
I think. At least that's what Zero wrote down on the sheet.
Yeah, 45 was the official answer we had last year.
Yeah. So as I went in and around there. I assume people had similar ideas, or just thinking it'll be more. Actually, yeah, I'll let someone talk about why they went higher.
Yeah, so as I went the highest, basically mechanical issues will rear its ugly head for this one just because it's a new set of regs. And there were teams, like Audi, Aston Martin, who will have, gearbox failures, engine blowouts, whatever. That we'll just add a couple of them too, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Any reason you
Wouldn't
went
be
lower, Matt?
Well, last year I actually did less than a row actually racing the season. That's my answer, and rightly I was laughed out of the building for that answer. So I added 10 this year. Could be just, and got to be honest, wouldn't be surprised if at least 20 of them were Aston Martin, as Mal has said. But at the same time, we're rabbiting on here about how unreliable these cars have been in preseason. They may rock up to Melbourne and actually just they may be slow, but they may actually be fine. They may fix the reliability to become race one of the season. I'm banking on that. I'm banking on them fixing the reliability issue and being slow.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So, and then the last one, which kind of goes hand in hand with retirements, is safety cars, where I went lowest with 30. What was the number last year?
Checking that was 33.
33. So I just went slightly under. We're all kind of around the right ballpark, and I assume it's literally just because new cars. There's bound to be stuff, and there's also more drivers on the track, so in theory, there's more of a chance of crashes and stuff.
Yeah, there's going to be some retirements on the main straight or in an awkward position where there's have to do a safety car, for example.
And of course, a VSC upgraded to a safety car is the same safety car we have.
Yes.
Obviously, anyone who's new watching and listening to us, welcome. Where have you been?
Why are you
that's
here?
yeah. But yeah, that would be
So
a rule.
can I also just point out something that I've noticed? Matt has more safety cars than retirements.
It's going to call safety cars for no reason.
Safety cars deployed for wet weather.
There's going to be a lot of rain.
And also, a race time behind the safety car would also count as safety car, I believe.
That's true.
But okay, so I'm sorry, but I don't think every race is going to happen over here. Like, I don't think every race is going to be in the UK.
No,
So it can't rain everywhere.
We've also seen VSEs deployed and then cars have got going again. We've also seen VSEs deployed for stupid things like a wing on the track. Back in the day, we used to leave cars at the side of a track, okay, in Blanchimont. Okay, no one threw a yellow flag or a red flag for them. Probably should have
Back in the day,
done.
people died pretty regularly in F1.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to be
Yeah.
going back to
99 they
that.
weren't, thankfully. But the point is that safety cars can be thrown without the need for a retirement. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, yeah, that is fair enough. It'll be-
I'm probably wrong on this one.
Yeah.
But I need to make my case.
I mean, yeah, putting it like that, it kind of makes more sense. But yes, we will now move on to our bonus questions and deal with the new system that I've experienced a few times, but at least one of us hasn't. So let's just reveal our wonderful bonus questions. Sorry, this should be bonus predictions, not questions, because they're not questions, they're statements and predictions. I apologize. I, for some reason, always say bonus questions, and I must kick that bad habit out. It's predictions. All right, so I'll just read them off left or right. So, Freddie Slater, my favorite EastEnders character, which I realized, oh yeah, there's an EastEnders character called Freddie Slater, will win F3, which hopefully. Colton Herta doesn't win an F2 race. Mal, that's got worse from last time I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh my-
The only reason I did that. The only reason I did that because Marty slandered me for saying Colton didn't win F2, so I made it more likely.
Even worse. Matt is Behrman announced to drive for Ferrari in 2027, and then Michael is female driver does an FP1 session. So we've gone very very F1 centric and very
I hope it's F1 centric. This is F1's predictions thing.
I know. It's very much not. It's very much all like outside of the results. This is just these are certainly a collection of bonus questions. So I think we should start with the person who hasn't done this format first, which is Matt. So Behrman announced to drive for Ferrari in 2027.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a case of when, not if.
so
I wanted something I knew would happen. Ollie Behrman is going to be in that Ferrari next season. Probably with Charles Leclerc. Lewis is going to probably retire at the end of this season. Win or loss, he'll be out this season. He's had 2 races. He had 2 years at Ferrari, and it's not been the dream he wanted.
that's a fair assessment. So
Yeah.
you're wagering 7 or 8 points. So Mal and Michael and myself, obviously. Do we think this is likely? First off, like, do we think this is going to happen?
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
Matt did not need to tell me on this. Like, this is what we're looking at. Like, we are not offering you much for this. We will not be offering you many points up for this because, like, I'd be surprised if this didn't happen. Honestly,
So
This is the worst kept secret in F1.
this isn't a 50-50, right?
Yes.
This is.
I think. Yeah. The only caveat I'll have is, will this happen before the end of the season? I think the answer is yes. But
Yes.
I think if Hamilton's retiring, he'll announce before the end of the season so he gets his proper send off.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we think this is likely.
Yeah, how low are we allowed to go on the offer? We will give you, for the low one, we will give you 1 point if you are right. The high one will give you 2.
You sound exactly like Mate did earlier when we were trying to explain bonus questions to him. He's like, why don't you just do 1 or 2? So I think if everyone's okay with it, I almost feel like 7 up, 7 down, 8 up, 8 down.
Yeah, that's, I think, genuinely what I'd be going for. I wouldn't want to go any higher than that. I think we'd be being far too generous if we offered any more than that.
I tell you what, I'm prepared to say I'm that confident. 7 up, 15 down.
That's not how this works.
So
You-
so to translate this, shall we offer 3.5 up, 7 down? I guess.
I'm that I'll take
Yeah, so-
the offer of 7-7. I'll take the
Yes.
offer of 7-7.
No, I
Yes,
don't think we can take back an offer. I think that's a bit too far.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So
Yeah.
you take the lower offer.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So we will now go to Michael's, which is a female
Yeah.
driver does an FP1 session. I assume
Yeah,
it's who I think it is that you're expecting.
Yeah, best case scenario is Dorian Pan. Like she's like the probably the real prediction here is Dorian Pan does an FP1 session. But I've opened up to female driver generally. I honestly couldn't come up with much for the bonus. I wasn't feeling particularly creative while doing this. But yeah, it just feels like something that F1 is going to want to happen sooner rather than later. Is getting another female driver in an F1 session at all. I think is Susie Wolf still the last to do it? I think.
I think it
so.
is.
don't think we've had. I don't think we've had one since her, and that was over a decade ago at this point. Like they're obviously pushing a lot with the F1 Academy. Dorian Pan is obviously the big name out of that. I said I've opened it up a little bit to female driver in case someone else takes a punt on someone, or the more likely thing, a female driver has enough financial backing to pay for a FP1 session, because that's how these young driver sessions work. Really, it's who's got the money rather than actually trying to give opportunities to drivers. It just feels like something that F1, like the FIA and everything, will want to happen sooner rather than later. Dorian Pan is now in, I think she's technically a development driver now, properly for Mercedes.
Yeah.
It feels like it's become possible. I'm still, not 100% sold, because like I said, it feels more likely that, I think they've got, like I said, if you're looking at Mercedes specifically, they've got, I think it's Joshua Dirksen, I think they've now signed on as well as a dev driver who's actually an F2. Feels like they'd be more likely to try and give him shots. I think Fred Vesti might still be tied to them. He's their usual go-to guy for those sessions as well when they're just filling it up.
I think he's the test driver.
It might be the
Reserve
official
driver,
reserve now that they've not got Bottas anymore.
Mhm.
So it felt like the right mix of possible to happen but not nailed on. Like absolutely far from nailed on. Like you wouldn't expect them to do it.
I'd love to see it. I would. But something in the back of my mind thinking this is a risky one from you still.
Oh, I always do risky ones. This is one of my less risky ones, probably. Like, if you see some of the predictions I make and some of the other stuff that's not F1, I can go mildly insane sometimes with these. So,
I mean, I'm fully aware of Toto Wolff's wife, for example, but the fact of the matter is that are they really going to throw an academy? I'm going to say with full respect, she is the reigning F1 Academy champion. Are they going to throw that level of person into an F1 car in an FP1 session when the other drivers who are closer, I would argue, to F1? And that's not saying that Academy drivers shouldn't be given these chances. I do think they deserve these chances, and one day we will see a female F1 driver again. I believe we will see that. I just don't think we're going to see one in an FP1 this season. For me,
so I think the big difference when it comes to who they're putting in for these, rookie tests in FP1, it's less about what's actually beneficial for the team and checking who's actually good enough, and more so using it as opportunities to either sell it off, as like McLaren seems to do, they just sell it off to whoever, give them money to do it, or getting that bit of exposure that sticking a female driver in might do. Or, in some cases, it is rewarding junior drivers who have done stuff in junior categories with, you did well here, so you get you get an FP1 session or something like that. I said I don't think it's entirely merit based. Not to say that these drivers don't deserve chances to drive an FP1 sessions, but it's not purely who is the absolute best person we can stick in that car for an FP1 session.
Yeah, I think kind of following on for that, I think a lot of teams have a lot of development drivers. Like, I think McLaren have about 5 or so, something stupid like that. And I think it'd be a bit weird for them just to give someone a bit of a jump over them. Right, it is exposure, and it is I mean, I guess Dorian Pan has indeed won something, and depending on how well she does in endurance racing, she might be moving up to like a Formula 3 sort of level. But yeah, maybe give it like 5 years. If someone like Dorian Pan proves to be as good as the drivers, we hope she is. But not this season. I think this is maybe, I don't know. I'd give it a 10% chance just because of somebody wanting to do a publicity stunt, almost.
So we don't think it's 50-50, right? It's going to be more than that.
Yes. It's going to be quite a bit more, I'd say.
See, I think it's kind of like it's more likely than I think you're saying, because
It's. I think there are male drivers who have a lot more money behind them.
Yeah.
I mean, Kean Shields got a bloody free practice drive for God's sake, and he finished last in GP2 in F2. I'm sure there's some, I don't know, Hong Kong driver who's backed by multi-millionaire businessmen who can jump in, pay £1 million for it.
I reckon
The name you're looking for is Mahavir Raghunathan. Lord Mahavir, he's going to come back.
Oh God.
I also feel that we all would like to see this.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, we'd all like to see this. We just also know how this works.
Yeah.
And we don't agree with that.
So I'm also scared of what we would offer for the 10. So we're not doubling it, so that'd be 20 to 10. That'd be like 25-10. That's terrifying. I do not like that. I don't like.
I mean, I've had bigger than that. I think I got. Actually, I want to check this. How big did my T20 World Cup one go? Because that went insanely high.
I'm more than happy to push and make the blow slightly better, just so he doesn't go high. Because that amount of points scares me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to go like 13.5. I would say that's still a lot of points.
I go with that.
And then what's the higher offer like?
Let's go 18-10. So the actual difference in the actual winning points isn't that much, so we can push him down a bit.
That feels good. That feels right to me. Yeah, 18-10.
So the two offers were 13.5 and 18-10.
This is one of the times we got actually like this feels weird. No, it's the other way around. You're trying to convince me to not gamble too many points
because you might win the episode anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think this is going to be a first time ever. I'm going to take the low offer because I feel like you've made it mathematically stupid to take the high offer.
Yes.
Also, to clarify, I looked up the T20 World Cup one. I also put wagered 10 points for that. If I end up being right, I get 27.
Jesus. See, if I was on the episode, I would have stopped that from happening. But it's just me. I don't like high. I don't like people going high. It scares me.
Hey, you did what stop me from my bonus being if I'm right, Chuck loses.
I did also stop that because even though and then Z's like, yeah, you could do that. It's like, what? No, yeah. No. I don't agree with that, even though it's Chuck. All right. So we'll go on to Colton Herta doesn't win an F1 race, which surely he's going to win an F2 race.
Yeah, he's not going to win an F2. He's not going to win an F1 race.
Yeah, I didn't know what to put here, so I decided to do something with F2. Colton Herta is an F2. He's moderately hyped up. Kind of like I wanted to have him in, aren't they, at some point? So I just think it would be quite funny if he flops a bit, really. The issue is F2 can be very, very random. You can get I don't know how many there was last year, but there was quite a few race winners, and because they have sprint races and feature races as well for each round. That's a lot of races. So there's quite a potential. Potentially can just look into one if he's not doing very well. But yeah, I don't know. I just had a bit of an inkling that he might not do as well as people are thinking he will do. I just want to take that to the extreme.
Fair.
I'm sort of on board. with your logic, to be fair, Mal. I thought he had kind of. I mean, his record has been mixed at best across his career. I don't get the hype. I mean, he's not going to replace the Owl or the Minister for Mexican Defense anytime soon in the Cadillac. That's for sure this season. Anyway, or even next season. I don't know, Michael. What do you think?
I think he probably wins a race. I don't think it's nailed on. With Hertz, the big thing with him is that he will pull out just an incredible performance out of nowhere, really. That's what it is for Herter. It's like you say, he doesn't look like he's brilliant if you look over the course of the season. Herter is more, he has brilliant individual races rather than brilliant seasons. I don't think he's going to go in and storm F2 at all. I wouldn't. I think it's entirely plausible that he doesn't win a race. There is a lot of talent in the on the grid this season. Alex Dunn's still there. Rafael Kamara, Nicholas Zolov's another one that's highly rated. Like, there are some very good drivers in there. I think not winning a race at all, especially given how the sprint races work, because even if he's struggling a bit, if he qualifies P8, he's on pole for the sprint. So it's. I do think he probably will win a race. I think that this is more unlikely than likely, but I think it is entirely possible. I'd be saying I'd say it's about 65% chance that he wins a race is where my thinking's at.
Yeah. Just for a bit of additional context, last season, everyone down to P11 won a race. Which is, I think, pretty insane considering there was only like 20 odd full-time drivers, maybe 22. 24.
24, I think.
Yeah, but that's like nearly half the
on the grid.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we doubling or are we tripling here for Mel?
I think I'd be tripling the high offer, not the low offer. I'd be trying to incentivize putting more points on the line here. So I'd be going like 5 and 15, but then like 2 and 5.
So I feel like that's, in my opinion, that's 15 free points. Because I think Hilton Herter wins an F1 race. F2, fuck's.
No, if you're thinking he wins one, you're thinking that he's going to be wrong.
Yes.
So you're trying to. That's not 15 free points.
That's 5 points more.
He only gets the 15 if he's right. The moment that he wins a race,
of course, sorry.
He doesn't get the 15 points. That's why I'm saying that I want to incentivize him to go higher because we're trying to make him lose more points.
Yes. Sorry.
So that's why I'm saying going like 5 and 15, but then like 2 and 4 or 2 and 5. So
my brain
basically,
stopped working.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Michael, what's your proposal for the bonuses?
I'm saying 5 and 15, so 5 down, 15 up, or 2 down, 4 up.
Agree with that, Matt?
I'm prepared to agree with my colleague.
Okay, Matt.
Gambling. High offer.
So that's 15-5, right?
15 up, 5 down, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in the money.
Sure, Vegas. And then we'll just
watch him win in Vegas.
No, please don't.
Okay, so my one is Freddie Slater will win F3, which is very much a. I didn't know what to put here, so I just wanted to talk about F3. No, he very much won Formula Regional. What was it?
I'll get
see.
But he's very, very, very hyped. He's now Audi's development driver and is very much expected to probably get an Audi seat in a couple of years.
Yeah, so he won Formula Regional European Championship.
Mm-hmm.
He also came second in the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. He did a couple of races in F3 last year. 9 races in GB3, winning 3 of them.
He finished second in Frotz this season. which is from the regional one, which I believe
Oceania Trophy, yeah, came
Yes, I think,
second
which
overall,
was
3 wins
behind-
and 15.
behind Ugochukwu, who is in F2.
Yes.
So he has done well. Yeah, I can see why people are aboard hype train.
Do we think this will happen?
I think he's probably among the favourites for sure, but also it's F3 and you never really know. Like F3 is sort of the point where you get all the people from the different regional championships finally sort of coalesce together into that first sort of like linear path to F1. So it is really hard to judge. You will obviously get favourites. You'd expect Freddie Slater to be up there. Same with Ugachukwu. The main names that I'm recognising on there, on this list. Obviously, I said down F3, it's hard to. You don't really recognise many names at that point beyond seeing the name Fernando Barrichello in there, who, yes, is Ruben's son.
Yes.
So, yeah, it feels Freddie Slater is definitely among the favourites, but it's F3. You can't, like, F3 is almost impossible to call before the season. You'll have people go in as big favourites, then not win it. So, yeah, I would say for just going on an F3 thing, you kind of, it's 50-50 at best.
Yeah,
Yes.
50-50 at best. I'd say, yeah.
Yep. I think I'll agree with that. Just because we're just discussing F3, we haven't mentioned his name yet. Tukatapan.
Tukatapanen.
Yes.
Tukatapanen.
Just because it's fun to say. And the video. Yeah, I think I'm happy to go with whatever 50-50 means, which I think doubles the points, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I'd be going. I'm saying like 2 and 4 or 3 and 6.
Yeah. Seeing as Eloise never takes the high offer, should we incentivize her to take the high offer this time?
Yeah, sorry, make it 8.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So it's two down, 4 up, 3 down, 8 up.
So it's the 4th, or I've lost count, time where we go into this new system and everyone says, "Oh, Eloise Lara goes for the high offer. Let's get her to go for the high offer." And I take it every time because you're giving me 3 points. Like, more
To be
points.
fair, I'm barely in episodes with you, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's every time. So I've taken the high offer every time. We've done this because it's I'm wagering 3 points as the high offer. So
yeah, that's the whole thing. Is I'm looking at that, we can offer whatever we want. You've putting 3 points on it. Like this is me being weirdly conservative by putting 5 as the low and then take. Like I said, this is literally the first time I've ever taken a low offer.
I've lost episodes by bonus points, B minus. I don't risk it anymore. But yes, we have indeed predicted the F1. It is indeed happened. Yes, I am very excited for the season. Like it will be. I mean, all signs are pointing towards it be a very interesting, hard to predict one. With chaos, lots of chaos, which will be fun.
We're all gonna be wrong.
We're all gonna be wrong.
Massively wrong.
Any last comments before we leave?
God bless America. Cadillac to win the championship.
You didn't even predict that.
No, I know. I didn't think which year either.
We just retroactively change the prediction to that now. Let me just fix the spreadsheet quickly.
Didn't think which year. This year, 2035. It could happen one year.
I hope not.
Not this year.
Okay, so if that's it, then I'll call it here. Well, thank you everyone.
Stroll podium.
Yeah, we definitely.
I got Hulkenberg right last year. I'm going big this year as well. That's my one. I don't get any points for it prediction. Stroll podium.
We need to wrap this up before before anyone else blurts out something even worse than that. Okay. Thank you all for being here. It has been an episode, and we'll see you soon. Okay, my internet's going. Remember, be big mystics, not big mistakes. Bye. No one else can wave because my internet died. Bye. Bye.